What's going on, everybody? Ms. Erica here once again for another episode of Explain It to Me PDAC. Today we're going to go over two-step equations, solving two-step equations. So let's just jump right into it. Okay, so our first problem is 5x minus 8 equals 32. That is our first problem. So whenever you're solving algebraic equations, you always want to make sure that you get the variables or the letters on one side of the equal sign and the numbers on the other side of the equal sign. In order to do that, you have to do some math functions. However, remember, whatever you do on one side of the equal sign, you have to do on the other side of the equal sign. So the two most important rules, if you remember those, you should be okay. But let's get to this problem. So we have 5x minus 8 equals 32. What I'm going to do, I'm going to get all the variables on this side and all the numbers on that side. So first I'm going to do, what is the easiest thing to move between 5x and 8? To me, it's 8, because 8 is by itself. 5 is connected to a variable. So the easiest, quickest thing to do is to move 8 first. So this is minus 8. So in order to move a number, you have to do the opposite. Minus 8, opposite is plus 8. What you do on one side of the equation, you do to the other side of the equation. See that? All right. So this, because we did the opposite, it cancels out. And then we have this lovely math problem. 32 plus 8, and that is 40. Okay? You see that? Yes, you can. Great. So then we're going to rewrite, just to make it clear, we're going to bring this down. So we have 5x equals 40. All right? The top of my 5 is, there you go, you can see it. So we have 5x equals 40. So now just like up here, we have to move the 5 over to that side of the equal sign. To do that, we have to do the opposite math function. So 5x is really 5 times x. The opposite of times or multiplication is division. And so we have to divide 5 in order to separate it from the x. What you do on one side, you do on the other side. Right? Sorry, I want to make sure my light's not blocking it. What you do on one side, do to the other side. So this 5 and this 5 cancel out. It only cancels out the 5s. It does not cancel out the x. So those cancel out. Then we have 40 divided by 5. And that is 8. So x equals 8. Okay? So, I'm sorry for that light. I'll fix it in the next video. My bad. But to check our answer, we need to put this in the original problem. So I was seeing how much space I had. I'm going to erase this. I'm going to just erase this and rewrite the problem anyway. So we have 5, and then the answer we got was 8. So I'm putting it in parentheses to signify that is the number we're substituting for the variable. Minus 8 equals 32. So we just rewrote it. That's all we did. All right. So in this problem, let's go ahead and solve the multiplication problem first. 5 times 8 is 40. So 40 minus 8 equals 32. Yes, I could have did both steps of math and the same thing. However, sometimes, especially when you get to the longer algebra, it's easier to just do one step at a time so you don't get lost. So we just did 40 minus 8 equals 32. So now we need to subtract. 40 minus 8 is 32. And 32 equals 32. So that's how we know we got it right. So that is how we do that example of a two-step equation. Let me erase my board and we're going to do one more. This one is negative 16, what does it say? Equals x over 3 plus 5. Okay, so we are at our second problem. Our second problem is negative 16 equals x over 3 plus 5. So remember, we're in two-step equations. So let's solve this equation. Just like with the first one, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the problem and see what is easiest to move. In this case, the easier thing to move is the 5. It's easiest to move it over here, okay? So we need to do the opposite. So this is plus 5. Opposite of plus is, you guessed it, minus. So we have minus 5. And what we do on one side of the equation, we have to do to the other side. Okay, so that cancels these out because that just turns to 0. Then we have this problem. Sometimes it's easier when you are dealing with negative numbers to turn it into a plus minus. So we have negative 16 plus negative 5. In this case, when you're doing a negative plus a negative, it's just like you're adding numbers like normal and then just put the negative sign in front of it. Don't forget the negative sign. Please don't. So 16 plus 5 is 21. And so it's negative 21 because that's a negative plus a negative. Okay. So we have negative 21 over here. So I was almost running out of room. Adjust my board. We're going to rewrite it. So we have negative 21. Let's see what we have left. We have x over 3. Okay. So remember, a fraction is really just a division problem. So we have x divided by 3. What's the opposite of division? Multiplication. So we need to multiply by 3 to cancel the 3 out on this side and move it. So remember, we're going to use the dot because that's another symbol for multiplication. But since our variable is x, we don't want to get confused. So we're just using the dot for multiplication. So multiply by 3, then multiply, well, I should do this. Multiply by 3. Okay. These end up canceling out. So we just leave with the x. So then we need to multiply this over here. So we have 3 times negative 21. A quick way to do this, especially when you have smaller numbers, as far as like the digits go. You do 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 2 is 6. And then of course, a positive times a negative is a negative. So 3 times negative 21 is negative 23 equals x. So we think our answer is negative 23. So let me erase a little bit. We're going to double check it by substituting it into the original problem. Okay, so our answer was negative 63. I may have said 23 a second ago. My apologies. Our answer was negative 63. Okay, and I just wrote this here to remind myself. So let's just write it all out to substitute it in. So we have negative 16 equals negative 63, because this is where the x is, and that's what we said x is, over 3, and it was plus 5. All right, so this is our new problem with our substituted answer. So let's solve it. All right, so what we're going to do is solve this division problem first. So this may look a little bit intimidating, but it's not, because you can go 3 divided by 3 is 1, right? 3 divided by, or 6 divided by 3, excuse me, is 2. And then you just have to remember to put the negative on it. So negative 63 divided by 3 is negative 21. Whoop, my board almost fell. Plus 5 over there, and then we have 16 over here. All right, so then we're going to add a positive number and a negative number. So 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16. So we have, and don't forget the negative, negative 16 over here, and look at that, negative 16 over here. So that's how you know we got the right answer, which was negative 63. So that being said, that is two-step how to solve two-step algebraic equations. If you have any questions, please let us know. You can leave it down in the comments if it is open. Sometimes YouTube cuts off comments on videos that could be made for kids as an effort to protect kids in videos. And sometimes it's automated. And so if the comments are blocked down below where you cannot comment, in the description bar is a link to our resources page on the Purpose Driven Advocacy page website. And you can submit any questions about this that you have or any other additional questions that you have about any subject, and we will make a video to answer it or even have a Q&A. So with that being said, this is two-step algebraic equations, how to solve them. And that's the end of this video. So I'll see you guys later. Bye.